This weekend, 4 women who served on the front lines as nurses during the Vietnam War will speak at an event in Lockport. The veterans sharing their stories about what it was like to serve our country back then in those hard days. 2 on your sides, Kelly Dudzik spoke with one of the women ahead of the Saturday event and shares her inspiring story.
Some of the things that were going on in the country, which at the time I found disturbing, in terms of some of the anti-war demonstrations and stuff like that, and decided that I would go because I thought I could help.
In 1968, as a young nursing school graduate, Joan Fury volunteered for the Army Nurse Corps. She served in Vietnam from 1969 to 70, caring for wounded soldiers and civilians.
I was 22, and the casualties were younger than I was. And of course, they were drafted. They were right out of high school. And, it was pretty amazing. And I think the other thing I touch on, because a lot of people don't realize this also, is that when you're in that kind of a setting, when you're in a war zone and you're in a hospital, you also end up taking care of civilian casualties. And oftentimes civilian casualties are children.
Fury's experiences in Vietnam inspired her to pioneer a PTSD program for veterans, and she also co-edited an anthology of poetry by women who served in Vietnam. She says the floodgates really opened after the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
You found out that there were other people that also had written poetry and had written essays or prose or just jotted down experiences in a, pretty emotional way, but that they didn't share them. They didn't have anyone to share them with, or they were afraid to share them.
This Saturday from 1 to 3 is part of I Was There, Unknown Stories of Vietnam at the Keenan Center in Lockport. Fury will share her story along with 3 other nurses who are Vietnam veterans. You can find more information with my story online. On your side, Kelly Dudzik, Channel 2 News.